When you wake up early in the morning, there's no doubt that the first thing you think about is pouring yourself a delicious cup of coffee. Magical. Until you realize that you're hungry. You fire up the stove and crack some eggs. And how do you cook them? Well, you cook them the best way, sunny side up. It's 2022 and you are in the market to build a pint-sized PC chocked full of the most powerful hardware available. You've been searching around for a small form factor case, seeing things like the Lee Q58, Phanteks Evolve Shift, well, and others. Just stop searching. Drop the Meshalicious into your cart and get your build on. It was the best Mini ITX case of 2021, and in my opinion, it's still at the top. Sunny side up design, or SUPT, and that's actually what it stands for, SSUPD, SUPT. They make exactly one case, but they make that one case extremely well. This thing is almost perfect, as close as you can get to perfect in a case that I've seen. Now, before we get started going over the features of this case, let's go through a quick time lapse of me putting everything together, which took a pretty short amount of time, only about, I'd say, an hour and a half. So enjoy. Starting from the front, it supports a Mini ITX motherboard, and I've gone with the MSI Unify Z690i. At the heart of this build, I've put a 12700K cooled by an NZXT Z63 280mm AIO. That's right, you can fit a 280mm AIO or radiator if you want to do a custom loop inside the front of this. That is a pretty large amount of cooling capacity for such a small case. Now, continuing on the front, there is room for an SFF power supply, and if you need something bigger, this can house a full ATX power supply like this 850 watt from ASUS. If we head to the back, we can see that there is a surprising amount of space for your graphics card. If your GPU is short enough, you can fit it horizontally on this top section, or if you need a little more frame pushing power, you can mount it vertically. The PCIe riser and GPU brackets can be moved up or down depending on the length of your card. If you decide to go with something a little more chungussy, you can take out these screws here and on the back here, and use the included shorter standoff to move the entire middle motherboard support structure forwards to allow for a 4-slot GPU. And yes, those do exist. You can see here it's handling the absolutely thick boy EVGA 3090 Ti with ease. One of the great features about this case is that the GPU sitting on the back side, separated from all the rest of the components, it is able to pull in cool air straight from the side panel there. Thermals with this setup using the 12700K and the 3070 Ti are fantastic. After running 30 minutes of Firmark and Cinebench together, we see that the GPU only hit like 75-ish degrees, and the CPU held pretty much exactly at 69. Nice. Now, we're using a 280mm AIO, so the 140mm fans that go on top of that are able to push a lot more air quieter, which means that the overall noise level out of this case is pretty low. Now, what's not to like? As the name implies, this case is all sorts of mesh. Now that's really, really good for airflow, but not so great for dust. There are no dust filters on this, so expect to be blowing it out frequently to keep things running smooth. My DCS server running in this case is only about a month old and it's already looking pretty rough. This is Doha though, so if you don't live in a constant dust storm, you're probably gonna fare a bit better. Thankfully, maintenance is easy because all of the panels just pop off. The orientation of the GPU, if you're using anything other than super short GPUs in that horizontal configuration, means that you need to use a 90-degree adapter for your display. Now there is one HDMI cable included in the box that has a 90-degree adapter built into it, so you won't have any issues getting up and running right away. If you want to use a display port, then you're going to need to use an adapter, unless you print the feet that SUPT has generously designed for their customers. This raises the case up just enough to plug in a regular old straight DisplayPort or HDMI cable. That's smart thinking. You can also print up a 120mm radiator bracket, which allows you to put two 120mm radiators on the front of the case. There's also a fan bracket, which allows you to mount an additional fan above your CPU cooler if you're using something like the included cooler with some Intel or Ryzen CPUs. Now that can help with airflow and cool VRM and memory. Now to wrap this up. Most cases tend to follow the same cookie cutter recipe for housing your precious hardware. Motherboard here, GPU there, boxy shape, and kind of bland design. SUPT has strayed from this and really taken the time to design something built for customization from the ground up. They have covered pretty much every combination of parts, included the accessories to accommodate the different configurations, and kept the price reasonable. Other SFF cases have been released since this hit the market a couple years back, but for me, this is still the best Mini ITX case to buy in 2022. Now, if you want to get one of these for your next build, head to Store 974 here in Doha, or check out their website, linked down in the description, or download their app. You can use the code BartmansBits at checkout to receive 3% off your purchase. 3% of that purchase will also come back to this channel to help keep the lights on and the videos coming. Now, if you guys were watching this video and you saw this computer and went, yeah, that's exactly what I want, well, you're in luck, because it's going to be for sale at Store 974, so head down there and pick it up today. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.